Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Omega Speedmaster Anniversary Series First Omega in Space. Reference 310.30.40.50.06.001 39.7 millimeter watch with a gray blue dial. It's a vintage reissue of the first Omega in Space, hence the name First Omega in Space. I will tell you a little bit about the history of this Speedmaster, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Speedmasters, then tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start. With Omega has four major collections. They have the Constellation, which is their dress watch, the Seamaster, as the name implies, related to the sea, such as diving, and then they have the Speedmaster, which their most famous one is the Moon Watch, which of course is related to the fact that Omega has the first watch that ever went to the moon, the Speedmaster. And then they have the DeVille, which is kind of also a dress line or a more modern dress line. Okay, we're going to focus though on the Speedmaster, and the Speedmaster has many different variations. They're almost all chronographs. They calculate speed or elapsed time. For example, since they all have chronographs, they can calculate elapsed time. Now, the Moon Watch itself is a chronograph, and what is special about the Moon Watch is that Omega, when Americans first went to the moon in 1962, the Omega was the first watch that ever made it to the moon. And Omega was commissioned to create a watch that could actually go to the moon, because back then there was no digital watches. The digital watches didn't come out till quite a bit later. So they had to create, of course they already had mechanical watches, but they had to decide between using a rotor, which would make it automatic winding, or a manual wind, and they ultimately decided on a manual wind. And that was because they didn't know how gravity would affect the rotor, since there is no gravity in space. That would it actually turn so that the watch could be used in space? So they decided on a manual wind movement, and the result is what you see. And when they made the Speedmaster back then, it looked remarkably similar to what you have in front of you now. Let's move on to where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Speedmasters. Well, the Speedmaster they have, as you can imagine, many different variations of the watch. Speedmaster is one of their most famous. I would say the two most famous lines or collections of watches that Omega makes is the Seamaster 300M and the Speedmaster, which is what you're looking at in front of you. Now, the Speedmaster Moon Watch, there's many different variations of it, but they all look really similar. They're all chronographs with a thin bezel, and the dial is usually black or white, and they have it on different bands. So yes, I said they have different variations, but there's not so many of them. They make it with steel and gold, on steel, and all gold, with leather bands, not leather bands, bracelets or leather straps. So just basically different variations. And what you're seeing in front of you right now, almost all of their moon watches are going to be 42 millimeters. That's the contemporary size for their moon watch. This one in particular is a little bit special in that they made it a bit smaller, and at 39.7 millimeters, you might be wondering, well, why would they make this one that much smaller? And also, instead of having a bigger bracelet, usually at 20 millimeters, they put this one only at 19 millimeters. And you might be wondering why. Well, when it was first released and went to space in 1962, that was the size. It was much smaller. It's only been recently that watches have gotten bigger, and so they've kept the original proportions of the watch. And if you ask me, it's a really nice touch, because smaller watches are actually back in fashion right now. And before it's only these really large watches, but now it's these smaller watches. And there's something to be said about having kind of a smaller watch. You'll see it when I try it on my wrist. Okay, now the thickness. All right, let's start talking about the watch itself. Okay, so right, before I get to that, and I should say, all the other Speedmasters, all the other moon watches are bigger. This one is a reissue. It's supposed to look like the one that was originally released in 1962, except that it's redone with all modern components, modern movement. The dial, bezel, everything is more modern and done in 2024. And it's actually just released in November 2024. So it's a very new release. And yeah. Okay, so that's where this watch stands in the lineup, okay? There's really none other like it. Now, I know they've done some previous releases of them, but none of them are this new. Okay, it's kind of like releasing a new redoing a vintage car, but doing it in 2024. That's what this one's like. Okay, let's start talking about the watch itself, starting with the case. Now, as I told you, the case diameter is 39.7. It's quite a bit smaller than the other moon watches, which are all starting around 42 millimeter. The thickness here also is a nice slim 13.4. Not that slim, but still slim enough. Lug to lug, meaning going from top to bottom, it's 48 millimeters, which is not bad. It's not that big. If you consider like 50 millimeters is kind of the average, 48 is just a little bit under that. And so maybe 1 millimeter on each side. And as I told you, the lug width is 19 millimeter, so the bracelet's a little bit thinner as well than other Omegas, which I believe are either 20 or 21. I want to say they're 20 millimeters. Okay, at any rate, okay, let's start talking about the bezel here. Now the bezel is, as you can see, is black, but what's nice about it is it's quite a bit thinner than other bezels, or when I compare them to the other Speedmasters, the bezel is quite a bit thinner, and that gives it a vintage look. All right. Okay, let's talk about the dial, and I think the dial is probably the most special. There's a couple of most special things on here, but this is one of the most special, is that the dial itself, it looks black, but it is actually not black. It is blue-gray, and you might be wondering, well, why should they put it in blue-gray? And as it turns out, some of the old Omegas, the vintage ones that were actually made back in 1962, the dials were black, but they started to turn to this blue-gray look because over time the paint started to fade and therefore started to look to this blue-gray. So Omega realized, wow, why don't we make this reissue look like it's already, starting to become vintage. And we want to give it this vintage look, and what better way to do it than to kind of fade the dial and make it look like it was like that. Because when you do it naturally, sometimes the fade is uneven, but when they do it this way, create it like this, the dial is just perfectly done. So it's actually a very dark blue. They call it blue-gray, but to me it looks like a very dark blue, or it actually looks like a dark blue-gray. Just looks like a black that has been faded over time. And what they did is, this is probably one of the coolest parts, I have to say, is that Omega decided also to make the hour markers and the hands with a dark patina on it already. And why did they do that? Well, same thing with the dial, is that Omega realized that the dials and the hands from those vintage Omegas back in 1962 started to go from the nice white to this kind of brown patina. And so rather than just releasing it like with white, Omega wisely decided to keep the uniform vintage look throughout, and they done the hour markers and the minute hand, hour hand in this patinaed brown already. So the watch is released brand new, but it looks like it's vintage, it's old. Really nicely done, if you ask me. I think it's probably the coolest part of it. All right. Okay, now let's move on to the. Let's see, where else should we go to? Oh, actually, we should stop at this crystal. Normally, I don't talk about the crystal, but this crystal is actually really interesting. This is a Hesalite-like form crystal, which is scratch resistant, and it has anti-reflective treatment inside. Okay, now let's break that down a little bit. You see, let me turn it on its side. You can see that the crystal has a bubble to it. Now you might be wondering, what is the big deal about a bubble? Well, because back in 1962, when this watch was released, they did not have sapphire crystals. They had plastic crystals. That's right, plastic. And the problem with plastic crystals is they would scratch and they would obscure the view of the watch very easily. But the nice thing is that they were rounded. Well, it could be a nice or it could be a not nice thing. So this rounded look made it look very vintage. Now, you normally could not do sapphire with this rounded edge because sapphire needed to be straight, not rounded like this. So Omega figured out how to do a Hesalite-like form, so it's kind of like a combination of it. So it's still hard like sapphire, but it can still be bent and have this round shape. So there you have the functionality of sapphire, yet the beauty and nostalgic look of this plastic crystal, and hence the name is now Hesalite-like form. Okay, so that really lends this entire watch to look very vintage. You have the dial that has a fade to it. You have the crystal, which is curved, or plastic, which is curved, and then you have a smaller size. So which all lends to the appearance that this watch looks much more vintage. Okay, let's move on to the movement here. Now, this movement is a Omega 3861. Now, for those who don't know, the 3861 is probably their most famous, is definitely their most famous movement in the Speedmaster, because I think it's the only movement in the Speedmaster. All the Speedmasters use this one, and it's a remarkably good movement. In fact, it's so good that on one of the Apollo missions, when the astronauts needed to time 13 seconds to turn on the afterburner so that the capsule could enter the into the Earth's atmosphere correctly, they used this exact movement. I think it was the exact movement, or it might have been a reissue of it. This might be a reissue of the original one, but it's very similar nonetheless, even if it's not the exact one. And it was able to get the astronauts basically back home safely. So you know it's a very reliable movement. And it's actually also very beautiful, because on some of the Omega ones, they show the exhibition caseback, and you can actually look at the movement. And yeah, it's not a Patek movement, but it still looks really good. Okay. For whatever reason, though, they decided to close the caseback on this one, probably because that's how the originals one was made as well, so they wanted to keep that. But instead, they engraved it, the first Omega in space, October 3rd, 1962. So that is pretty darn cool there. Okay, now let's move on to the bracelet. Now the bracelet on this one is a stainless steel bracelet. It's also actually a quite nice bracelet. It has a Speedmaster bracelet, this satin finish in the center with high polish down the edges, which is quite nice. And I guess I forgot to say, when you look at the case, by the way, for this watch, I mean, yes, I didn't harp on it too much, but it is just really nicely done. It's the really nice angles, and it looks very slim, and the lugs kind of curve down so that the watch fits around the wrist quite nicely, and puts the bracelet at a kind of a lower angle so that it wraps around very well. Okay, back to the bracelet here. Now the bracelet, you can actually, Omega sells it on different variations, which is with a black calfskin or even the brown calfskin. That's how they sell it. Or you can even buy it on a NATO strap and some other variations. And what is kind of cool, by the way, on the black strap or black leather strap is that they do it on black leather, and then they do the stitching also with this sort of patinaed or like a cream color, so it matches the patina on the hands and arm markers. A really nice touch, if you ask me. Just really makes the watch look that much more vintage and cohesive. Okay. And let's move on to we talked about the movement. And by the way, the movement, I should also state, this chronograph can actually calculate the elapsed time of 12 hours. Some watches, I don't know why, but for example, on Patek, they have chronographs, but these chronographs only calculate 30 minutes. I mean, that's not a very long time. You know, you might want to calculate, for example, how long it takes to get to a certain place in the car, and it might take 45 minutes. Well, you can't tell that because on other watches, but this watch, thankfully, it does a 12-hour time. And as such, remember I told you it was manual wind. Okay, anyways, time to try this watch on my wrist. Now I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. As you see, the watch looks really nice on my wrist, even though it's smaller. It's not super small. I mean, it's 39.7. It looks fantastic. I really love this vintage look, and it's a new release. It's something different from the Speedmaster. I think Speedmaster is one of the iconic watches of all time, and this reissue just really hits the mark on the head. So look, if you want to buy this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.